Do you often feel chest congestion, shortness of breath, or a lingering cough, even though you're taking your medications as prescribed? While managing lung health is complex and requires medical supervision, what's on your plate can be a hidden factor that significantly worsens your symptoms. Identifying these dietary triggers can be a game changer for your comfort. In this video, we'll reveal common foods that can quietly increase mucus in your airways, making breathing more difficult over time. And there's one food at the end of the list that most Americans eat daily, but very few would ever suspect. The first culprit we need to discuss is refined white bread. While bread is a staple in many diets, highly processed white flour can trigger an inflammatory response, especially in individuals with gluten sensitivity or wheat allergies. If you notice more congestion after eating sandwiches or toast, switching to whole grain alternatives might help, as they contain fiber that generally supports respiratory health. Next up on our list is processed meat. Processed meat refers to meat that has been treated to preserve it or enhance its flavor. This includes bacon, ham, hot dogs, sausage, and lunch meat. We included processed meat because researchers found that eating it was linked to an increased risk of COPD. COPD is a condition that makes breathing more difficult. The study found that for every 10 grams of processed meat eaten per day, the risk of COPD increased by 7%. One of the unfortunate side effects of COPD is excess mucus production. Another food that we should mention is sugar. It is well documented that sugar should not be included in a healthy diet. To add fuel to the fire, a study found a link between sugar consumption and increased mucus production. The study looked at the effects of sugar on nasal mucus in healthy people and in people with asthma. It found that both groups produced more mucus after eating sugar. The study also found that people with asthma had a greater response to sugar. They produced more mucus than the healthy participants. This suggests that sugar may play a role in worsening asthma symptoms over time. Next up is dairy, particularly milk. It is a common misconception that milk causes the body to produce more mucus. However, for many people, the proteins in dairy can bind to existing mucus, making it feel thicker, stickier, and much harder to clear from the throat. If you feel a coating in your throat after drinking milk, try plant-based alternatives like almond or oat milk. Fast food is another category we need to discuss. It is no secret that fast food is unhealthy. Many people are surprised to learn that fast food can increase mucus production. A study found that eating fast food was linked with an increased risk of developing asthma. The study found that for every serving of fast food eaten per week, the risk of asthma increased by 18%. As mentioned earlier, one unfortunate side effect of asthma is excess mucus production. This brings us to the next item on our list, soda. Like fast food, soda has also been linked to an increased risk of asthma and increased mucus production. The primary reason is that soda is loaded with sugar. Excess sugar is known to cause inflammation. Inflammation can lead to many problems in the body. These include sinus congestion and overproduction of mucus. Excessive sugar intake triggers systemic inflammation. While it may not cause an immediate allergic reaction for everyone, a high sugar diet weakens the immune system and makes your respiratory tract more reactive, leading to more frequent congestion. Next, we need to talk about cheese. When we eat cheese and other dairy products, some people cannot properly break down lactose. When this happens, the body's natural response is to produce more mucus. This can also lead to other problems such as diarrhea, constipation, and nausea. Many dairy products are also high in saturated fat. High levels of saturated fats found in some cheeses can promote inflammation, which may worsen the feeling of congestion for those with sensitive respiratory systems. Cheese is no exception. It is made from cow's milk, which contains high levels of saturated fat. We also need to mention eggs. Eggs are a common ingredient in many dishes. For the majority of people, eggs are perfectly fine. However, in cases of undiagnosed egg allergies, certain proteins can trigger a histamine release, which leads to airway inflammation and congestion. One theory is that certain properties in eggs trigger histamine release. Histamine then triggers mucus production. Another possibility is that eggs contain a unique protein. In some people, this protein causes an immune reaction. When the body perceives this protein as a threat, it produces antibodies. These antibodies cause inflammation, which can lead to increased mucus production. Corn is another food worth discussing. It is popular in many cuisines around the world. Although it may seem harmless, some people find that corn-based products contribute to their congestion. However, this is often linked to specific sensitivities rather than being a universal cause. One study found that subjects who ate corn protein had increased mucus. They also experienced more sneezing, itching, and a runny nose. The study found that these subjects were more likely to have an asthma attack. While corn may increase mucus production, it is unclear if this is a major concern for most people. More research is needed in this area. If you are worried about corn causing mucus buildup, you may consider eliminating it from your diet. Next, we need to talk about foods that are high in sodium. Unfortunately, most Americans consume far too much sodium. Excessive salt intake causes the body to retain fluids, which can lead to tissue swelling, edema in the airways. For those with chronic respiratory issues, this fluid imbalance doesn't just make it harder to clear phlegm. It makes the existing mucus much more difficult to expel, leaving you feeling stuffed up and short of breath. While some salt is necessary, limiting salty foods may be a helpful step toward breathing easier. Remember, everyone's body reacts differently. While adjusting your diet can significantly improve your comfort, it should not replace the medications prescribed by your doctor. Always consult with a healthcare professional before making radical changes to your diet, especially if you are managing chronic conditions like COPD or asthma. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to support the channel. Tap the like button so more people over 60 can see this information and breathe a little easier. If you know a friend or family member who struggles with mucus, asthma, or COPD, feel free to share this video with them. And don't forget to subscribe to Eat Well Over 60. We share simple, science-based tips to help you eat better, breathe better, and feel better as you age. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.